to Historia.
Woo! We're so good at these intros still.
I still can't carry a tune.
That's okay. I'm Kylie.
I'm Jamie.
And we are coming at you live. Not really. You're going to hear this like next week, but still. We have another wonder to talk about today. So lots of fun things planned. So
I'm excited. I kind of remember what you're doing.
I was between two.
Yeah.
I remember.
Is yours a new or an old?
A new.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I wanted one of us to do more of an ancient one of us to do a new one.
I freaking love ancient.
Yeah, so I was like, Jamie's the ancient one. You're the ancient one. I don't know. You know what I mean?
I feel ancient sometimes.
You're older than me, so by 2 months.
Oh, that's right.
So
I forget about that sometimes. I think everybody's the same age at this point, except like teenagers. Fair. I can't relate to teenagers anymore.
It's hard.
Like when they talk, I'm like, why are you wearing bell bottoms?
Oh my God, I know. They're like, oh my God, low-rise jeans. I'm like, honey, those don't look good on anyone.
Or the peasant dresses.
Oh,
why
yeah.
are people bringing back little House on the Prairie dresses?
I cannot believe this. They're all over Target. I'm
They're
like,
disgusting looking.
Yeah.
You look like a pilgrim and you're putting women's rights back 120
exactly.
years.
God.
I don't get it. They're no longer can be creative about creating clothes, so they're just bringing them back and adding different patterns.
Basically.
Yeah. And I'm like, I guess skinny jeans aren't a thing anymore.
No, they're not. I love a skinny jean. I'm not wearing no bell bottoms.
I can only wear skinny jeans.
Yeah, I don't wear any other jean.
I have tried to wear like straight leg and like boot cut. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I don't like that breeze on my leg.
Yeah, no.
I'm weird because the emo kid is coming out and I just can't wear anything except skinny jeans.
Yeah.
Like even wearing my dress pants to work sometimes, I'm just like, I just get like dressier pants that are like skinny jeans.
I don't like jeans, but if I have to wear jeans, the only ones I ever get is skinny jeans.
Yeah.
I have like a pair of mom jeans I got from Goodwill. Love those. But they're still skinny. They're just like a little more baggy.
Yeah.
But like love those. Anyway, what are we doing? Oh, we were talking about high schoolers. Okay. The youth. I was like, how did we get here? New world.
New world, who dis?
God. Oh man. Well, this is our second episode of the night. So we already caught up with y'all.
Yes.
This is our third wonder that we're discussing.
There is a lot of them, so I don't know if you want us to continue doing the full series or kind of split up the series.
Maybe take a break for a bit.
Yeah. Because there's a lot. There's 14.
Right. We don't want to just do it every week.
Yeah. I mean, it really gives diversity for the entire area.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So we'll throw them in again, maybe in a couple months or something.
Mm-hmm. I've been feeling very mythology.
Yeah, me too. I've been like, we should do some mythology.
It's been a hot minute.
So there might be some mythology coming very soon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying.
Feeling inspired because I've been watching Supernatural. And they've been putting in like gods and stuff in a lot of the episodes. And I'm like, I've never heard of this god before. I should probably do some research on him.
Okay, cool. That might be coming next then.
Mm-hmm.
Well, are we ready?
Yes. What are you
Today, I'm talking about a new wonder of the world. And it's not that new, but it's newer, I guess. And this one is massive. And it's white.
I know what you're doing.
I wanted you to... What is it?
Taj Mahal.
Yes, I'm doing the Taj Mahal. I was like, should I do this one or should I do the other one? I'm not going to tell you which one because that might be the next one. But I chose the Taj Mahal because I love that side of the world.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anything about it. And so I was like, let's learn some things. And so I did learn some things. And now I'm going to throw it directly into your cranium. Okay. Everyone, please do not leave. People are just like, all right, I'm done. No. Don't leave yet. Okay, so the Taj Mahal is a mausoleum.
Mausoleum.
Mausoleum. I just think of that that song. Sugar, we're going down swinging. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
So the Mausoleum of White Marble. It was built in Agra, which is in India, somewhere between 1631 and 1648. So it is newer.
oh yeah.
But it's not new.
Yeah.
So, and it was built by the order of the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan. And I'm going to be talking a lot about this guy, so remember his name. Okay. And basically, we're going to talk about the details. But this was created in memory of Shah Jahan's favorite wife. He had many, but this one was his favorite. And her name was Mumtaz Mahal. So we will be talking about her. Yep, that's where the name comes. And so this mausoleum is located on the right bank of the Yamuna River in a vast Mughal garden, which is kind of cool because there's like all of these structures that are in gardens. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it adds some spice. I don't know why I'm acting so weird. I'm sorry. In the Agra district is where it is located, and it is in Uttar Pradesh. So there's a lot of different buildings that are in this area. We have the main building, and I'm going to kind of talk about each of them. But there is a mosque, there's a guest house, and there's a main gateway on the south. So those are all on one side. Then we have an outer courtyard, and it's different areas that are around there. We have 4 different gates that you can enter, and those were kind of added later. So they kind of just were adding on to it a few years after, but they started with just the main courtyard, and then they had the mosque guest house was built to go with the mosque. So there's been several historical Quranic inscriptions in Arabic script that have helped us understand the chronological order to the building of the Taj Mahal. So a lot of it actually comes from the Arabic script that they've kind of passed on through the years. And the Quran is used heavily in their art, which is really cool to see. On the buildings, you can actually see those different Quran verses, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So many people went into the actual construction, including masons, stone cutters, inlayers, carvers, painters, calligraphers, dome builders, and of course, other artisans. So lots and lots of people. They were brought forth by the empire, and many were from Central Asia and Iran. So a lot of them are from different areas, but
That's cool.
Yeah, they were given something to do, and they got to live in it too. So that was cool.
Diversity.
Yes. The main architect is named Ustad Ahmad Lahori. So he's like the main one, but then they had all of these people kind of helping him out. I believe it was 20,000 people, if I remember right. So it took a lot. And if you look at pictures, you can tell there's a lot of detail, which we will get to. It is considered to be the greatest architectural achievement in the whole range of the Indo-Islamic architecture. So it definitely holds that record, and there's a reason for that. Yeah, in the architecture, they combined solids and voids, concave and convex. There's a lot of light shadows. There's arches. There's domes. There's just so much to it. Like I even said, Quran scriptures, and then different artwork. Like, it's beautiful. And they wanted the color to be white to kind of reflect the nature of it all. So we see like the lush green grass kind of near it. There's a reddish pathway that leads up to it. We see the blue sky. So everything that went into it kind of considered what's around it as well. And so that's why they wanted it to be made of marble. They wanted it to kind of reflect everything.
That's expensive.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll get there. Oh, yeah. But basically, when he was kind of looking at it and he wanted it to be made of marble, he just was thinking of the different moods and tones it could express. So at night, it looks completely different than it does in the day, which, like, oh my God. I'm going to post a picture of it with the full moon. It's freaking beautiful. I saw a picture and I was like, but yes, it is made of marble, which is very unique. Especially to architecture at this time. And it's a mix of marble and it's inlaid with a lot of precious stones. So it's very, very valuable. There's a lot of stones. I think it said like over 9 different kinds of stones that are actually built into it.
Jeez.
Yeah. And the Mughal Empire brought with them an Indo-Persian culture that you see through the different forts and tombs they left behind. So that's kind of where it all started. It started with this Mughal Empire and kind of just like bringing everything in and creating their own culture. And so one thing with that was these different tombs that they made for people that passed away. And that was something that they started. The first emperor of the Mughal Empire was named Bubar. And the empire lived in what is now Pakistan today. They also lived in what is now Bangladesh and Afghanistan. They couldn't obtain any land in what is now known as Uzbekistan. So Bubar established himself in Kabul. And many different places like that where they kind of were able to spread out in India. So eventually he decided to move further south in India because getting kind of more involved in the subcontinent. And so the reason why the Taj Mahal is where it is because of them kind of moving over to this area. So they kind of just set up shop. They're like, yeah, this is it. But Babur, who was the first... Babur, who was the first empire. He was not an empire. Emperor. You know what I meant. He actually died in 1530. And he was succeeded by his son. And his son's name is Humayun. And so the Mughal Empire was under his rule when it became interrupted. He was exiled to Persia. Dun, dun, dun.
Persia was still a thing.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, so I think it took 15 years for them to like continue. He was just like, he's gone. So the Mughal Empire obtained Persian culture influence and through the diplomatic alliances and marriage. And because of this, the empire was restored under the same emperor in 1555. So that 25 years.
Dang.
Well, no, because his son was, 25 years. Yep. Math. Figured it out. So in 1556, Humayun actually died. He was, it's kind of a funny story. He died by falling down the stairs in a library. Ended up passing away from a head concussion.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it does not sound fun. But he was just trying to read some books. You know what I'm saying?
And he died because of it.
That's pretty sad. He was pretty young.
What a way to go.
I know. But because of this, his wife had this brilliant idea that would change everything. She decided that she would build him a grand tomb funded by her hired architects that she had. And so she had these architects and they were ready to just build whatever she said. She's like, okay, I need you all here. And they're like, okay, what's up? And she's like, I need his grave in the most beautiful place ever. And so this would actually become a popular tourist attraction. You can visit it today, and it's Humayun's tomb. So you can actually go to his tomb and kind of see what it looks like.
I heard about that. I thought there was like special permission.
I don't know how you get in. I didn't really look too much into it, but I know you can visit it.
Well, can you even go inside the Taj Mahal?
Yes.
Okay, I know that there is a certain building somewhere around there that it's only for...
You can't go in all of it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, you get to see the courtyard and kind of go through the gates, but there, you can't really go in to the actual grave sites. That kind of thing.
That's just morbid.
Yeah. But anyway, so now he has this area of his grave, and it was in a pretty little garden area.
Ooh.
Yeah. And there was in the India subcontinent. So it was the first structure to actually use the red sandstone, which they would use for a very long time. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more later. But this was the first one to really come up with this idea of like burying your loved ones in this pretty garden area and keeping their memory alive through kind of watching the flowers grow, that kind of thing. It's pretty cool. So this created the concept to build huge garden graves to honor a loved one, and it kept their memory alive after their death. Humayun's tomb gives us a foreshadow look of the same style and hues of what the Taj Mahal would eventually look like. If you look up pictures, it looks pretty similar. It's just a lot smaller, obviously. And so a bunch of his family members were also actually buried at this place as well, which is really cool. Even his wife, who created it, was buried there.
Oh.
Yeah, Bega, I don't know how to say her name. Bega Begum. So his other wife was also buried there because she is the one who gave him his successor. So yeah, she's got to be there, I guess.
Yep.
And then later on, his great grandson actually ended up being buried there, and then many, many more
family.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool how they have that little area for their family.
It's literally a huge mausoleum for their gene pool.
Gotta love it.
I mean, you look at some here in the U.S., it's like, why do these people get these big areas just for their family?
Right?
Because they're rich.
Oh my God. It's crazy. So once he died, we have a new emperor, obviously. And his name is Akbar. And he was alive from 1542 to 1605. And I'm going to talk about kind of the next few because we're going to hit one that's really important. So after him, we had Jahangir. And he was from 1569 to 1627. And then we have Shah Jahan, which was the important one that I mentioned earlier, 1592 to 1666 is when he passed away.
Dang.
Yeah.
He was around for a hot minute.
Oh, yeah. He didn't mess around. He did not mess around. So their tombs are scattered across 3 different countries, which is actually pretty interesting. Babur, the first one we talked about, is in Afghanistan. The last one we talked about, Humayun, he is in India, in the New Delhi area. And then Akbar is in Agra, India. Jahangir is in Lahore, Pakistan. And then Shah Jahan is in Agra, India as well. Yep. Which Shah Jahan, spoiler alert, is in the Taj Mahal. Okay. So as time goes, the tombs just got way bigger, larger, and they had more assertive domes. So you could tell it was becoming this big thing to remember people from, which is kind of cool because they're like thinking of creative ways to make domes, right? Pretty awesome. And so Shah Jahan's tomb was the first to be covered in white marble instead of the red buildings.
Dang.
Yeah, and this was the epitome of the Mughal Muslim tomb designed of the Taj Mahal. And they decided to try something different rather than keeping that red sandstone. They were like, let's try this white marble. Then it's going to last longer. Let's do it.
Really?
I know. I'm like,
yeah.
I mean, they used the sandstone so that it would last longer, but I think they wanted more of a creative approach.
I mean, I feel like marble might.
I know. It's one of those things. I mean, they're still standing today, so.
I'm not a geologist. I don't know this
Yeah,
stuff.
both are still standing.
That's
so,
awesome.
I mean, they seem to both work out pretty well. The Taj Mahal was never intended to be where Shah Jahan was buried. He never built it for himself.
Dang.
It was built for the woman he loved. That was my transition. This was his first marriage that was out of love, and it wasn't political at all. The rest of the women, he was like, meh, they can rule with me.
Wow.
But this one, no, he loved this woman so much. They had 14 kids together.
Holy shit. How did she not die in childbirth?
Well, she does.
Oh.
But she was a Persian woman. And her name, again, is Mumtaz Mahal. Her and Shah Jahan had 14 children. And what was cool about their relationship is that there was like genuine love and affection and like chemistry. It wasn't just like, let's make a bunch of kids. Like they wanted to make kids. You know what I mean? They were getting it on.
Well, they probably weren't planning on having 14 kids, but
Right.
they just couldn't help themselves.
Yes, but all records say that he was just head over heels for this woman. Loved her so much.
Jeez.
He practically ignored all his other wives and he just focused on her. His life was centered around her. But unfortunately, during childbirth of their 14th child, she died.
Jesus.
I know. he was absolutely crushed, as you can imagine. And so he didn't know what to do with his pain and his devastation. And so he was like, I have to do something remarkable for her. Thus, we have the Taj Mahal. Took them 22 years to create, and he knew that's where he wanted her to be.
I just have to make a comment. She was pregnant for like 14 years of her life.
Oh my God, did you just do that math?
Well, she had 14 kids.
Yeah, but not a full year. Well, I guess kind of. Pretty much, if we're rounding
I mean, and then recovery.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my God, oh. Man, I think of the Duggars who had like 24 children or whatever.
Disgusting.
I don't know how many they ended up actually having.
I don't care.
Okay. So as I do best, I ended up finding a really cool documentary on YouTube of these tourists who actually got to visit, and so they show you kind of what it looks like. They show them talking to people that live there and giving information. And so it actually showed kind of what it looks like when you're pulling up. Which, first things first, when you're in this area of India, there's just monkeys flying around, which is so cool. And I'm sure they're used to it, but like they showed a clip of just a monkey climbing the Taj Mahal, and I'm like, wow.
It's literally like a squirrel to us.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. And then there's cows in the street, and they just don't care about the cars. I love it. Anyway, so for the Taj Mahal, there is parking kind of nearby, but there's no like parking lot. So you're just kind of parking wherever you can find. And then they have like tuk-tuk drivers that will actually take you all the way there. And so that's what these tourists did. And so they drove all the way there, and it actually drops you off about half a mile away from the actual Taj Mahal. So you do have to walk like half a mile to get there, but it's worth it. So once you get there, there is a huge courtyard area at the entrance. Like I mentioned earlier, there's going to be a picture posted of it because I think it makes the most sense if you're looking at a picture of it. It's not just one building. It's a huge area. And so we have the courtyard. This is called the Four Courtyard. And the reason why is because, like I mentioned earlier, there are 4 gates that you can enter into that lead to 4 different gardens. So 4 is like their magic number. There is the Western Gate, Eastern Gate, Southern Gate, North Gate. So pretty easy to remember. One gate, which was the North Gate, it used to have a different name back in the day. The gate was named after his wife because that is where she was buried. So her grave is actually right in that gate. That is the one that they really protect, and they don't really let people in.
Makes sense if the building was for her.
Right, exactly. Yeah, because the whole building, that's the whole point. So 20,000 people worked on the Taj Mahal. They were living behind the North Gate at the time. And their descendants are still living there. A few of them kind of in that area, not at the Taj Mahal, but they happen to really enjoy that area. So they stayed there. The North Gate has the 3rd largest gate in India. They have white colored domes on the top. There's 11 domes on each side. And the reason for this is because you have 11 on one side, 11 on the other side. 11 plus 11 is 22. It took them 22 years to complete. Wow. So every year they would just add a dome. I'm like, well, you might as well just add on to your workload. Add on a little something. And then what's really cool is you can see the scripture kind of on the side of the building. And to me and to people who may not be familiar with the Quran, it looks like a bunch of like art. Honestly, it doesn't look like a language, but it is. And it's really fascinating to see because they had to sit there for hours just carving in each little design.
And making it look so smooth.
I know, yeah. And yeah, so they have a lot of writing from the Quran there. And then they actually used kind of those real stones I was talking about. They put them into the white marble. Dang. It was expensive. It was a lot of work. And again, they have to handcraft everything. It makes sense why it took 22 years.
Yeah.
Especially with 20,000 people. Oh my God. Jeez. So there actually is a really cool, at the entrance, you can see kind of this floral design. It's really pretty. And so they actually chiseled the floral designs into the marble. Same with the writings from the Quran. Dang. Took forever because if you messed up, it would crack. You had to start over. So you had to do it perfectly. You could not make any mistakes because you can't just like run out of marble, then you're like, okay, guess we're done. And it's expensive. So they had to be very, very, very careful with this. And they used 9 different stones from different countries all over.
Jeez.
Yeah. My favorite part of the Taj Mahal, because OCD, I love this for them. They have one center line that starts when you enter the courtyard and goes all the way to her grave. So it's all connected in one line. Then the rest of the Taj Mahal is symmetrical, like perfectly symmetrical.
Oh, that's nice.
It's like you're looking in a mirror. Yes. It's amazing. Like, I'm so glad that they created something like this. Like, the bushes are symmetrical. The buildings are symmetrical. It's incredible. And so you just kind of follow the center line, and everything around it all works together really, really well. And it's cool that it leads perfectly to her grave, too.
Yeah, no kidding.
So the reason why they wanted to make everything symmetrical is because they wanted it to feel more simple, yet more complex at the same time. And it really does. Like, it feels like, because obviously it takes longer when you're trying to make everything perfect. But it's also more simple. Because they're just copying the other side. So it's just an interesting concept. But it made me really happy. Seeing, like, the details of, like, how it's all lined up. I'm like, wow, it's so pretty. And then, like, when you're walking up, it's amazing. It looks like you're just, like, walking into, like, a mirror. It's gorgeous. Cool. Yeah. So it's kind of an optical illusion a little bit when you're first walking to the actual main building, because it feels like the building's moving far away from you, but eventually you hit it, right? So you're getting close to it, but it feels really far away.
That's terrifying.
I know. Yeah. It's like a 3D movie, I guess, kind of thing.
3D movie.
But yeah, and I saw a video of it and I was like, wow, this is awesome. So what's actually really interesting is we have the north gate where her grave is, and on the other side of that gate, they actually have the Quran written in a different language because she's from Persia. And so it was kind of cool how they had like her own little connection to it there.
Yeah. But
then like the community could connect to it as well.
That's cool.
Yeah. There's a lot of detail that goes into this. But you can tell that's something that he probably requested. And he was like, let's put her language up here as well. In the Mughal Empire, they used red sandstone for everything. And the reason for this is that the capital is Agra. And in Agra, the stone is really easily found. They can find it everywhere. So they're like, we got this. We can build all kinds of buildings. It's also cheaper. And the color will never change. So thousands of years later, they're thinking it's still going to be the exact same color. And so that's their biggest reason. They don't want it to, turn colors. We've seen that in the past. Yeah. Statue of Liberty. That's the first one I thought of. But it's happened a lot. And so that was kind of their big approach to it. Like, if we keep this here, it's going to stay like this. And it still looks the exact same as how they built it, from what we know.
Well, they probably take really good care of it.
They do, yes. And so the white marble, the thing about that is that it slowly turns yellow. So if you see the main dome, it is yellow. But they clean the rest of it. So they don't clean the dome part. I think they're just kind of letting that do what it needs to do. But they do clean the building every 5 years. And they don't use chemicals. They refuse to add anything to it. They want to keep it as natural as they can. And so they use mud to clean it, which I think is cool that they're they're doing that today. So basically they use mud on the marble to clean it, and they paste it 3 months after washing it with water. So you wash it with water, the whole entire building, all of the buildings that are nearby, everything gets washed with water. And then after 3 months, you paste it with mud. So the mud absorbs all the dust and pollution, anything that's hitting the buildings.
Do they re-water it then?
Yes. They eventually wash it off.
I was like, how is this place not dirty?
Yeah, and so that's why the buildings are still white, because they continuously take care of that marble. They refuse to use anything that's going to change the color, because they could just find white dye, something that will make it white again. Yeah. But they're like, we are not doing that to this. We're going to find a natural way to clean it.
Keep it all natural.
Major respect. I love that. And then on one of the buildings, there's a black pinnacle on the top that is 10 meters tall. It used to be gold, but then many people believe that somebody stole it. There's that, and then there's also the idea that somebody made a replica out of brass, and that's the one they have now.
Oh.
So they don't have the gold one anymore. They believe the British took it.
Oh. No wonder.
I'm like, yeah.
Is that something new? No.
That sounds about right. But yeah, it was stolen, or was it? Dun, dun, dun. Many fables and myths about different things that have been there have been stolen. So like there's all those different kinds of stories. Like this used to be on this building and it got taken. And so they like to kind of create stories like that because it's like, you never know.
The Nazis took them.
Yep. Of course. Okay. This is one of my favorite things. But no, I'm like, maybe I should show you a picture. No, I'm just going to explain it. Okay. So we have the main building.
Yeah. Everybody
De
knows.
Resistance building. And then on the other side, we have a building in each corner.
Oh.
So it's like a tall building that goes in each corner. They're really small. They're not small, but they're like skinny. They're not very wide. And they are shorter than the actual Taj Mahal. So there's shorter buildings on each side of the center, and they are not straight. They are at a 2.5 degree angle facing outwards.
Why?
Good question. They are, what the heck? Tilted. Okay, I was like, what word did I write? They are tilted outwards so that they will never fall on the building if a disaster hits. Do you want to see a picture?
Yeah.
It's hard to explain. But, okay, so in the video, they're like, you probably won't be able to notice, and I noticed it immediately. But you can see how, and you guys can look at this picture. Okay, those 4 buildings. Do you see?
Those are like towers.
Yeah, do you see how they're like tilted?
No.
Like this one is going this way, and that one's going that way.
Why did I think the Taj Mahal looked different?
What do you think it looked like?
Maybe I'm thinking of Aladdin.
No, this is it.
I'm
This is
really
her.
embarrassed by that.
So this is the that was where the gold used to be.
No.
Now it's brass.
Who took it?
British.
Did they literally climb it?
I don't know how they would have taken it. I have no idea.
They go, flunk.
Yeah, I don't. That's why it doesn't
They
make
just
any sense.
Picked it right up.
But yeah, the towers, you can see how they're like, they're turned, right? Do they look straight to you? They're not straight.
Yeah?
See how this one goes this way a little bit?
No.
And this one goes this way?
No.
You don't see it?
No.
Here. They look straighter when I zoom in.
Oh, the first one kind of looks like it's going.
Yeah, and they don't want it to be noticeable, so it's hard to notice, but they are at an angle.
Why'd they do that?
Oh, I never told you, did I? Oh, yeah, I did. Well, if there's like a natural disaster or a bombing, then they know that the towers are not going to fall on the building. They'll fall this way.
That's smart.
It is. It's actually a really smart decision. So in the picture you guys are going to see, you're going to see, oh, I hope it's still recording. I think it is. You're going to see the main building, of the Taj Mahal, and then you're going to see the 4 towers surrounding it, and they are turned or rotated a little bit.
Why was I thinking the Taj Mahal looked different?
What do you think it looked like?
Whiter.
Whiter or whiter?
Whiter.
That's
Dude, I
it.
think I'm thinking of Aladdin.
If you look at the whole map, it's pretty big. It's not just that, but you're probably thinking of Aladdin.
I think so. Why? Why am I thinking of Aladdin?
That's really funny.
God, I have problems. It's like 10 o'clock. It's past my bedtime. I have a reason.
Yeah. So the main building is, I believe, 224 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
And then the towers are 141 feet high. So they're not quite as high, but they are tall.
I think it's because I didn't think it looked so blocky.
Oh, yeah.
Like it has, like you can, I thought it was more smooth.
Gotcha.
Because when I think of marble, I think of like smooth.
Okay, I know what you mean.
So I guess
got
like
you.
I didn't realize like when you look at it up close further,
Yeah.
it looks like you see all the split of like the blocks that they put in.
Yes, and that's very true. Yeah, there's a lot of detail into it too. If you like look at it really close up,
Yeah.
it's all kinds of stuff. Okay, so there's also an insignificant building at the edge, and it's a water palace. So the water palace was made out of marble at the top, so the dome part, but the rest of the building is made with red sandstone. So that's like the only building that's mixed with both of them, just to kind of tie it all together.
Yeah.
And there's an identical water palace on the other side as well, because they want everything to be symmetrical. So that way they have something here that matches that side. Okay. By the way, this was all his idea when he was creating this. So just keep that in mind because there's something else. But furthest north of the actual Taj Mahal, there's a riverfront terrace where we have the mosque and the guest house on both sides. The mosque is 66 feet high,
Jeez.
located on the west side, and it is located in the direction Muslims face when they pray.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And then the guest house, not really special. It's just there to balance everything out so that we have a building on each side. Pretty much its whole purpose. And so it's directly across from the mosque. The main building, called the Pièce de Résistance, is, like I said, 223 feet high. That's the one you see in the main pictures. It's been standing for more than 350 years, and it still looks... The marble's pretty clean. It still looks pretty natural there. It looks like such a clean area. It's really awesome. But unfortunately, in the YouTube video I was watching, people were littering.
People are disgusting.
I know. And they have a ton of trash cans.
Literally. It's not that hard to throw away trash.
I know.
People are just lazy.
Yeah. So when you actually enter the Pièce de Résistance, and when you enter, it brings you to an octagon-shaped inner chamber. It's pretty cool. And then in there, we have the grave of Mahal. Sorry. Mahal. And then there's a larger one next to her. And that actually belongs to her husband. He was eventually buried there.
Oh.
Even though he didn't want to be.
Oh.
This is the only element in the complex that is not symmetrical. Her grave is in the middle, but then his is right next to her. It messed everything up. And I think he would be like, come on! We worked so hard on this.
I mean, where else would they put him?
Good question. So there was a spot. What his goal was, is that across the river, going north of it, there is another garden area. And his goal was to build an exact replica of the Taj Mahal there. So he wanted the same building. Yeah. He wanted them to look the exact same and to be on that same straight line.
What?
Yeah, and he wanted to be buried on that straight line as well.
Oh.
So hers could be here, and then you cross the river, and then his is here. So he didn't want the whole, like, I need to be next to her. He wanted to be on the same line of symmetry, because then he believed that their love could go on for eternity.
Dude has some major OCD.
He does. It's very intense.
To be that symmetrical?
Yeah. And so that was his goal. He wanted to create an entire new complex that was just the exact same. So we could have had 2 Taj Mahals.
Dang.
I wonder what it would be called. It'd be like twin Mahals. I don't know. But yeah, that's called the Moonlight Garden. It's actually just a garden. They'd ended up not creating a building.
Oh.
And so that's why they were like, we can't just bury him here in this garden. Mm-hmm. Like, he created the Taj Mahal. We have to bury him here with his wife. So he never agreed to it because he's dead, but they did it.
Oh. It's like, you're dead. You don't have final say.
Exactly. And the Taj Mahal ended up costing $1 billion US. I converted
Holy
it
shit.
I converted it to how much it would be today. And that would be $1 billion.
How'd this guy afford it?
Well, it took a toll on the empire.
I bet.
And when he was like, hey guys, I want to build another one. They went, hell no.
Someone murdered this fool.
Yeah. They're like, dude, we spent all the money on the first one. How are we going to afford the second one?
Ooh. Oof.
And so he was like, dang it. So they could no longer build another building. All his dreams shattered.
Hopefully his children have trust funds.
No. Not so far. So in 1657, Jahan became ill. He had 4 sons, and he knew it was time to figure out who the next emperor would be.
Rough.
Now, 2 of them, he was like, meh. Like the youngest one, he was like, meh. And then the second one, he was like, meh. It was between his first favorite son, the star child, Dara, and then his third son, who's kind of an asshole, Aurangzeb. Yeah. So he was between these 2. Okay. Now, Aurangzeb was emperor. He ended up becoming the next emperor because Dara fled west because of battles that were happening. And one of his generals betrayed him and basically tricked him and handed him over to Aurangzeb. So he actually got him to capture him. Aww. And so Dara was just stuck in prison for years and years. And then Aurangzeb basically just crowned himself.
Oh, I'd be petty.
I know. He's like, oh, I'm the best, aren't I, Dad? And his dad's like dying. And he's like, yes. And so he crowned himself in July 1658. Jeez. However, in August of 1659, Aurangzeb had his brother Dara executed. Yeah. The ultimate betrayal. And Aurangzeb thought that his dad, too old, can't do anything. He's too incompetent.
Aww.
So he decided that his dad could no longer have any say in ruling, and he imprisoned him in Agra. He lived the rest of his life stuck in a prison, and he would never again be able to visit his wife's grave. Aww. He also would never see how big the Taj Mahal would become.
Aww.
I know. So he actually only got a glimpse into them building it. He never got to see the final thing. It's one of those things, just like,
that's so sad.
I know. He was a good guy, like, for the most part, from what we know.
From what we know.
I didn't go too far into it. But Jahan ended up dying in 1666. 666. Uh-oh. After his death, he was moved and buried in the Taj Mahal. And that is the story of the Taj Mahal. Now you might be wondering, how do I visit it? Good question. You can buy entry tickets online at asi.payumoney.com.
Wow.
Like pay and then the letter U, money. Or just search Taj Mahal tickets. It will come up. You can also buy tickets there. Up to you.
So there's no reservations that are needed?
No.
That's nice.
They're closed on Fridays. Don't go there.
Okay.
The visiting hours, this is what they tell you. 30 minutes before sunrise to 30 minutes after sunset. And then you're out.
Okay.
Yeah. And so you better realize what time sunrise and sunset are.
Just look at your phone. It has it on there.
Mm-hmm. So when I told you guys about the picture of the full moon, you can visit it at night, 5 days a year. That is it.
Dang.
So they choose one night that has a full moon, and they bring in 50 people at a time to come for 30 minutes.
Dang.
So you just kind of get to admire it. Gorgeous, gorgeous. I will post a picture. And then they also, so they let you do the night of the full moon, and then they let you do 2 nights, the 2 nights before the full moon, and then the 2 nights after.
Wow.
So it's 5 days, 5 nights in a row, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. And so you can visit any of those nights. However, you cannot buy tickets until the day before for that.
Okay.
They sell out very quickly because a lot of people want to see it at night. And you know, because you can't visit it much longer after sunset, so you don't get to see that all the time. Now, here's the prices. Are you ready?
Yeah.
India currency, they use Indian rupee, which is 13th of a dollar, basically, for us. So, the prices for tourists, so anyone who's foreign, they have to pay 1,300 rupee. And to us, I just converted it to US dollars. Okay, I'm sorry. But I wanted us to be able to understand. And I know a lot of you are from America, and you can probably convert it from there. But it is $16.32
Dang,
to get in.
That's cheap.
I know. If you are a citizen of the SAARC and BIMSTEC countries, it's 740 rupees. It's like the nearby areas. Mm-hmm. And that's $9.29 as a US dollar. If you are actually living in India, It's only 250 rupee, which is only $3 in America.
Dang.
So there's some fun little facts for you if you want to visit. It's definitely one of the harder ones to like go visit, I feel like, unless you're taking a nice trip to India. But it just looks beautiful. And like when they market it on their website, they just talk about the story and they just focus so much on his love for his wife and how they're both there together in love and harmony. And it's beautiful.
Did you figure out why they called it a wonder of the world?
No, I was going to search that when you were talking about yours.
Yeah.
I'm going to look that up because I was like, that might be interesting.
Because they all have like their individual stories of like what made them attracted enough to be part of the list as a wonder of the world. And honestly, I think the architecture of it is probably what made it.
That's basically what it says here.
Yeah. I mean, because it's probably one of the newer ones out of all of them that are part of the new wonder of the worlds. But
yeah,
I think it's solely just on the beauty of it.
So it says it was designated in 1983 for being the jewel of Muslim art in India and one of the universally admired masterpieces of the world's heritage. So it is regarded by many of the best example of Mughal architecture and a symbol of India's rich history. So I think it's like a mix of the culture and the architecture.
And they're probably like whatever money that they're getting to for like tourists and stuff, they're probably putting towards like cleaning it, making sure all the property is beautiful and everything.
Oh, it's like gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like when you see pictures, it just looks so put together. Look at this picture. That's like with the full moon. It's so pretty. There's no other lights around, so you see like the entire thing and it's right behind it.
Oh, I bet it looks gorgeous with the stars.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. If I visited, I'd probably try to get into one of those full moon nights. But anyway, it's a Taj Mahal.
That was cool. I didn't know much about that.
Yeah, I didn't either. It's cool. Like we said, like in looking into these wonders of the world, it's just like, it's fascinating to see kind of how they came together.
I literally had no idea what the Taj Mahal looked like, I guess.
Thought it was Aladdin. Oh my God.
That's what I learned today. Taj Mahal is not Aladdin.
I learned that I kind of wish I knew more about it before. Like, it's just really cool.
Well, they're never going to teach you that in school.
I know. Like, I've definitely heard of it and I've seen pictures, but like, it's just cool to kind of know why it exists. And it's just out of like this man who loved his wife and wanted to honor her forever. And then it's perfectly symmetrical. So it's just perfect.
Yeah.
I'm so glad they did that. But
dude had big OCD.
Oh, yeah. And then I bet he's just rolling in his grave seeing how he is not on the center line.
Probably. He's probably haunting the place. I would be.
Oh, yeah.
Be like, sure. Bitch, put me where I belong.
Oh, gosh. Anyway, that's the Taj Mahal.
Yay. Where can you find us?
You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube at Historia the Podcast. You can email us at historiathepodcast@gmail.com.
Oh.
So if you have any episode requests, hit us up.
Yes, let us know. Comment on our Instagram. Let us know what you think.
Yes.
How you doing? We're intrigued. We want to know.
For sure. For sure.
We want to know what you guys are thinking about.
Absolutely. Yes. Any input you have, any ideas you have, any comments you have, feel free. Share them.
There's a lot of history in the world.
There is.
It's just a single search away.
That's our motto. It's a single search away. All right. Thanks for listening, y'all.
I'm going to go to bed.
I'm tired too. Yeah, I feel that. All right. Well, good night and good morning and whenever you're listening. Bye.
Bye.